From Los Angeles.
Cade turns the corner.
America, now you know Jamal Cain. Coming up on NBA Today, the Magic deliver another blow to the 1 seed. So can the Pistons get up off the mat? Plus, the most important player in tonight's Knicks-Hawks Game 5 is... Shump's ready. Janae's got the X's and O's. And speaking of Amon, he's going to show us how SGA controlled the series versus the Suns, even when he didn't have the ball in his hands. NBA Today starts right now. All right, some golf claps. The Thunder, they're the first team to advance to the second round. Anyone surprised?
Nope.
No. All right, they're the odds-on favorites to win it all. On the other side, though, the East is about to get flipped on its head. Janae, this is wild. Detroit has been pushed to the brink by the 8th seed, the Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. It's a little bit of a bop, though, guys. Early in the first quarter, Cade Cunningham, this is a theme, Janae. He turns it over, and here come the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, from the jump, the defense was active and led to their offense. They're playing and they're flexing on them.
What do we say about turnovers? 1 minute later, turns it over again here, Shump.
Are we doing this in VHS mode? I love it.
VHS mode. For the kids out there, that means...
It's a tape, okay?
To the second quarter we go. Cade Cunningham, he really struggled taking care of the ball in this game, Shump. He was constantly getting pressured, and he was just making costly mistakes. He had 6 turnovers in the first half. That's the most in any half of a playoff game in his career. So Detroit down 2 at the break. Magic lead by 2 here. Franz Wagner drives, but he appears, look, he grabs his right leg here. Arsham Charania has reported that it's a calf issue that he's dealing with, and his status for Game 5 is up in the air here. So Franz was ruled out, of course, for the remainder of this game. He finished with 19 points, 4 steals. But here's the game. Here, right here. Hey!
It's a metaphor. Jalen Duren going on the court there.
Yes. The series for him in one play.
Dunks all over Jalen Duren. Did it remind you of something? It was a pretty incredible play.
Black man.
T-Mac throwing a monster dunk over the Detroit Pistons with LeBron James in attendance. Here's what LeBron had to say.
What do you think of that dunk, man, on the court? Man, that dunk was ridiculous.
So you can apply the same thing last night here. Jamal Cain doing his T-Mac impression. Paolo misses the jumper, but Cain...
That's up there for the dunks of the year.
Yeah, he's right there cleaning it up. Desmond Bane, this is why they brought him in, uses the screen.
His old teammates in the crowd.
Yeah, Ja was there. Jaren Jackson was there. And they've seen a whole lot of this. The Magic go on to win this and take that commanding 3-1 series lead. All right, so now the Pistons, they need to do something that only 4% of teams have ever been able to do in NBA history. I'm looking at someone who has some experience with that, though. Come back from down 3-1. It's happened 298 times entering this year in a best-of-7 series. Only 13 teams have completed the comeback. Shump, you know what it takes to be able to do that. Sure. What are the Pistons facing here?
Well, they know exactly what they're facing. If anybody has seen Jalen Duren, just let me know. I know we saw him on the highlight get dunked on. That's cool. But if you've seen him,
like his real self,
please call him. Page, text him, something.
But you've been the first to say that it's not just, we know that Jalen Duren isn't someone who necessarily creates for himself. When Cade Cunningham is turning the ball over Chiney and struggling like that, it makes it incredibly hard for Duren to get going.
The Detroit Pistons right now are one-dimensional, and they all know that their offense, their hub is Cade Cunningham, but he's had 24 turnovers over the last 3 games, the most in a 3-game span in the postseason since we started tracking. And when Cade is turning the ball over, who's his #1 recipient? It's Jalen Duren. And we see similar instances throughout the playoffs. It's like New York not getting the ball to Cat. Like, these guys need to be fed.
Yeah.
And when he's not getting those shots, it just makes him so much easier to scheme against.
Yeah, I need them to be able to feature him in a number of ways. Right now, they're only able to feature him if it's a home run pass from Cade. Cade's got to be able to bat singles. That's what we used to say on the court. Bat singles instead of trying to make the home run play every time. You should be able to pitch ahead to the side and trust that they can hit the roller. Something like that. But right now, it's dribble, dribble, dribble. If he can make the home run, it's going to be a bucket. Otherwise, you're not involved at all.
And like you said, Cade is an All-NBA player. And what we celebrated over the course of the regular season, Wendy, was that his pace, he dictates it. But also the pace is now telestrating the passes. Like the first play of the game, they try to get it to Jalen Duren on a bounce pass, And it was just like everyone knew. They converged, the defense. It's too easy to read at this level.
They have no incentive to cover the Pistons on the outside. Okay, when you watch the Pistons play offense, sometimes it takes 15 seconds for them to get the ball inside the three-point line. And that will happen 2, 3, 4 times in a row. When you have a collapse, and we're on the verge of a historic collapse here because we've only seen the 8th seed beat the 1 seed a handful of times ever in the 7-game best-of-7 era, okay? When you see a collapse, it requires several different things to come together. And let's acknowledge that the Magic are playing excellent defense. Wow. They are playing high-level intensity, confident, on a string together defense.
Right.
But it's also the fact that the Pistons' weakness, which is that they can't spread the floor and they don't have multiple ball handlers, is crashing down on them. There's 4 guys standing in the paint watching Cade Cunningham try to run into that wall. It's not working.
But they're also getting punked, though. Because that's what I'm saying. The whole year, Detroit has been physical. They've been in your face. They will send multiple defenders at you. Yeah, all of a sudden, it's like, where are the big eyes coming from? Where's all these 50-50 balls that's laying around? You see 3, 4 Magic players flying on the floor. Where's that? I just want to know where it's at. The whole year I was confident in y'all. Y'all go out here now, and it's like everybody looking around and looking to be saved. It ain't no cake coming.
Well, the Magic are also, in 2026, defeating a playoff team by scoring 94 points and only shooting 33% from the field.
But again, it's a how bad do you want it on a possession-by-possession basis. And I was looking at this, and you look at the seeds. Seeds don't matter in this instance because the playoffs are more so about matchups. If you take Paolo Banchero and Cade Cunningham, they're very similar physically. They bring the ball up, they can score and create for themselves. Now you remove that. Let's say that's neutralized. The second tier is outplaying the Orlando Magic. That second tier is outplaying Detroit's second tier. Tobias Harris and I are in the same class. McDonald's All-American in 2010. He's trying. He's trying, but he's giving you max effort. Outside of Tobias and Jalen Duren, there's not much to hold your hat on offensively, whereas we're seeing the best version. Finally, the money is working for Desmond Bane. Franz, I know he's out, but he's someone that can bring the ball up. They have more variety, whereas the Detroit Pistons are very one-dimensional.
Well, it's not done yet, but it's getting pretty close. Pistons fans are looking to avoid history here.
Hey, but if they do,
if they do, hats off, right?
I just didn't want them to have to play the Knicks. You know, the Knicks couldn't figure Detroit out. But Orlando, if y'all gonna do it for us, go figure that out.
Let's take a walk down memory lane here. The last 1 seed to go down 3-1 in a first-round series, it was the Bucks. Remember that 56-point eruption from Jimmy Butler in Game 4? So the Heat, they went on to beat the Bucks in 5 games on the way to the NBA Finals in the bubble. Now, Detroit is the third 60-win team to go down 3 games to 1. Yep. The 2011 Spurs, the Grizzlies, and the 2007 Mavs against who? Oh, yeah, it was the We Believe Warriors. Both of those teams, they were eventually eliminated by the 18s. But how about some hope, right?
Please.
The Pistons, the last ones to rally. The last to rally from a 3-1 deficit in the first round, it was Detroit.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was back in 2003, and they were able to pull off the upset against who?
The Magic.
The Orlando Magic, right?
The Ben Wallace highlight reel. My God.
Perhaps that history could repeat itself. I'm not really sure how many times today. How many times throughout the course of the season did we say the East is wide open?
Every day.
Well, this certainly, the first round of the playoffs has only confirmed that, and we do have 2 more Eastern Conference games tonight, the Sixers and Celtics, the Hawks and the Knicks, where things are all tied up. So Tim Bontemps is in Boston with the Celtics, and Vince Goodwill is in New York for tonight's massive Hawks-Knicks game. Tim, I want to start with you here. Philly facing elimination after that beatdown in Game 4. How can they extend this series?
Well, a couple ways, Malika. First is they've got to have Joel Embiid have a similar performance that he did in Game 4. He came back and had 26, 10, and 6. That was the good thing for Philadelphia. Essentially, nothing else was good, though. The Sixers started off the game. They couldn't hit a shot. They got into a huge deficit early on. Couldn't get an offensive rebound. The Celtics had 6 offensive rebounds in the first quarter. Philly had 5 in the entire game. And from there, it just became an avalanche of Celtics-made shots that the Sixers could not keep up with. And that is the other thing, Malika, that is probably going to decide this Game 5 because it's what's decided the first 4 games of the series, and that is, will the Celtics make their 3-point shots? In the one game they lost a week ago here in Game 2, the Celtics were 13 for 50 from 3-point range. That says 26%. The other 3 games in this series, the Celtics are 60 for 144. They're shooting 41%. More importantly, Malika, they are plus 87 in terms of points scored from the 3-point line in this series, and they've taken 67 more threes per game than the Philadelphia 76ers. It is just an unrelenting math problem that the Sixers are up against in this series. So they're going to have to try to limit Boston's three-point shooting, and they're going to need to shoot much better if they want any chance of pushing this series to a Game 6 on Thursday.
Yeah, a math problem is the exact right way to put that, because Joe Mazzulla's bet is, you know what, in 4 out of 7 games, we are not going to miss our threes like that. Tim, thank you very much. Shifting over to the Knicks side of all of this, Karl Anthony Towns coming off a monster Game 4 against the Hawks. He became the first center with a triple-double in Knicks postseason history, which is pretty hard to believe. Vince, do the Knicks plan on making Cat more of the focal point of the offense moving forward? He's been asking for it all season.
Malika, it's been the question that we've all been asking about, is the usage of Karl Anthony Towns and why it seemed to have dipped this season under Mike Brown compared to Tom Thibodeau. And it didn't seem like Game 4 was even by design. When we asked Mike Brown about it after the game, he said it just so happened to flow that way, which means a lot of that was initiated by Karl Anthony Towns. OG Anunoby was a recipient of 5 of those 10 assists, which is why OG Anunoby is second on the team in scoring. Karl Anthony Towns is third in shot attempts, third in scoring, and yet he's playing the most efficient basketball of his playoff career to this point, 21, 10, and 5, even matching Jalen Brunson with assists. The important thing tonight, though, Malika, Jalen Brunson, for one, coming off of that ankle injury. He tweaked it a little bit in Game 4, and he has not had a Jalen Brunson breakout game. We know he's capable of it. It could probably happen in Game 5 or Game 6. We have the evidence from last season.
And I'm curious to see whether or not the Hawks here keep a Okongwu on Karl Anthony Towns, or if they're going to let him free safety a little bit more on Josh Hart, because we have not seen that adjustment yet. And Cat had that huge game. Vince, Tim, thank you very much. Enjoy tonight's games. They should be fun. Still to come on our show. Hey, Cooper, taking home some hardware. So we're going to put the teenagers' historic rookie season into perspective and relive some of those high-flying highlights.